Morning everybody, and thank you Alicia. Really I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of what has really been an amazing programme, an amazing experience, and I don't think we need this. And I only have 3 minutes to speak about something that has just been overwhelming, so you'll have to bear with me and hopefully I can do it justice in the couple of minutes that I have. So for me, the programme has really enabled me to expand my knowledge of the aged care sector through networking with people working in aged care and who want to be involved in aged care, both young and a little bit older. Through the programme, I got to know 20 young people with an interest in aged care, and week by week we shared our knowledge, past experiences and aspirations for the future. Each Wednesday, the weekly sessions allowed me to learn about aspects of ageing and board governance that I previously had little knowledge of. We started the programme with Dr. Anthea McGuigan, and she enabled us to reflect on some of the key events of the last 100 years or so in Australia. And that really kind of opened our eyes to some of the things that might have been experienced by current members of the aged care community in Perth, such as war, economic depression, and the discovery of the iron ore in the Pilbara. So I found this really interesting, as I'm not originally from Australia. It was great to kind of take a step back and just kind of think about, what have people who are the older members of our community been through, and what has influenced their perceptions. We also had an exploration of the evolution of the aged care system in Australia, which allowed us to place today's policies and practice in historical context. The weekly sessions had many other highlights, including presentations from many influential professionals on topics such as board governance, the financial and legal roles and responsibilities of board directors, the HR component of the sector, and more recently we had a really highly informative questions and answers session with 4 influential CEOs and board members. In addition to the weekly sessions, we had aged care site visits, which allowed the group that I was involved with to go to have a look at around one aged care facility, a Baptist care aged care facility, and we also went to see a Community Vision day centre. It was really interesting to view how such organisations operated in practice and to get a feel for what it might be like to either live in or work in or visit or volunteer at a facility or a day centre. On the same day as the site visits, we had a social experiment exercise where each of the programme participants were set tasks. They had to walk to different places in South Perth and get things like gluten-free bread or find a hairdresser or make an appointment, but there was a catch. The young people had to be given a condition sometimes associated with aged care, or ageing. So some people had earplugs in, other people had plastic bags over their head to create a kind of a sight impairment. And then we had other various things. One of the participants was in a wheelchair, and it was a really eye-opening experience. And it came back to me again. I was just in Margaret River for the weekend, and I went to get a coffee, and as I was walking down the stairs, a man stopped me and said, "Could you just walk up that ramp and get me sugar?" And he had come on and go for it. And I was thinking, what we did that day, we thought it was entertaining because we looked like sillies walking around with plastic bags over our head, but it really showed us, things that you don't think about, like, we found it difficult to order coffee, people couldn't hear us, one of the participants walked into a bicycle, we had to cross the road, and it was, it just really was an eye-opener. We take for granted sometimes things, I think. In addition to all of these activities, we had a really memorable weekend retreat where I learned a lot about my own personal values and aspirations and developed my leadership skills together with the other participants. And I'll never forget the weekend that we had in New North. It was really good. The weekend retreat and indeed the whole programme could not have been possible without the hard work of Alicia Curtis and Dr. Nikki Howe, and also the other 2 organisations, Mercy Care and Baptist Care, that are involved. And I think I speak on behalf of all the participants when I say I'm really, really grateful and I'm really thankful to everything that they've done for us. Thanks.